My dear friends, this evening, of course, we left off from where Bhagwan, in the form of Badaharu, the Lord takes different avatars according to his own will to save the Bhakta. So in the form of Vadaha, Shweta Vadaha, he comes as a white boar, and with his tusk uplifted, he rescued the earth and brought her onto the surface, destroyed the great demon that is referred to by the name Hiranyaksha, Jayan Vijay. The gatekeepers of Bhagwan given a curse so that they will take 3 births by the mind-born sons of Brahma. And as such, when that Lord in that particular incarnation came to the earth, he settled for a little bit and he shook his body, and where the waters sprinkled off his body and it fell, it became known as the sacred kush grass that we use in Yajna. Kush grass is not only used on ceremonies dedicated to the departed. Most time we say kush grass, we say dead walk. But no, it is also used in worship of the devatas. So that particular place, kush grass began to grow, and it is called Barhishmati. It is a city that is inhabited by one of the sons of Brahma, that is known as Manu, and his wife Satrupa. They had 3 children: Priyavrat, Utanpad, and a daughter by the name of Devahuti. Their daughter would be wedded to a great sage by the name of Maharishi Kardam. And out of him, out of that union, a great sage by the name of Kapil Muni will be born. Kapil Muni is instrumental in teaching us about our religion, and that is very important. The purpose of this is to teach you about your religion, to help to give you a deeper understanding of what your religion is. Yajna is everything that is done, but it is also done to uplift and to enhance one's knowledge. For when one's knowledge is enhanced, one gains a greater understanding of what one is doing, and that is very important. Never ever do something you don't understand. Never follow anything blindly, you will be in trouble. There will be a grave consequence to your soul. Never ever ever follow something blindly. Always look and see where it is written, why it is written like that. That is very, very important. We live in a different age and a different time. And always follow things that you know is rooted in your scriptures. So this is what Bhagwan says, that Kapil Muni is the father of what is called Sankhya philosophy. It's very elaborate, but it's one of the major teachings of our dharma. Out of such, Bhagwan describes Shatrupa Kupati Manko Bhagavasudev Putra Hua Jagat Ke Rakshas. Raja Utanpad, one of the sons Utanpad, Doranyotu, he was wedded to 2 queens, Suniti or Sudichi. One by the name of Suniti and the other by the name of Sudichi. Raja de ke prem aur Suniti ki Dhruv ki mata hai. The king had great love for the younger queen, Suruchi. Her son was Uttam, and the elder of the 2 queens, Suniti, her son, was Dhruv. एक दिन वह राजा सुरुचि के पुत्र गोद में बिठा कर कर रहे हैं, उसका नाम उत्तम। समय ध्रुव जी कार्य गए, पिता को गोद में बैठे उपस्थित हुआ है. You know, when you have children, you have to share your love amongst all of them. So if I were to ask a parents, which one of your children you like the best? Not a man jack will answer if the children sit down there. Am I right, parents? If you put all your children to sit down there and I come to do puja for you and I say, which one of your children you like best? Where you go stand and tell me? It was a Pandit, what kind of thing you asking me here? And especially if you're getting older and you're a little dependent on them. As they say in Trinidad, from the time you call one name, Krapo smoke a pipe. We have to love all equally. Parent has enough love in his heart to love, and his or her heart to love all equally. Not so. We do have preferences though. Yep, we do. We mightn't say it, but we have preferences. We usually tend to like the one who listens to us. Whether they're doing the right thing or the wrong thing, but once they say, you do so, and they say, yes ma, or yes pa, man, you love that one too. You'll give a life for that one. And when the rest of them tell you, you see, watch how you like that one more than you like the rest. You say, no. No. But it have some truth in what they're saying there. So 2 sons, born same father. Father takes one son and put him on his lap. When he sees, other son sees that, he runs to the father. He wants affection as well. Role of a father is very, very important. Garud Puran tells you very beautifully. Blood is that of your father, but tissue and hair is that of your mother. But blood is that of your father. So like this, of course, when he sees आरोहण करे की इच्छा करते हुए अपने सौत को पुत्र का ध्रुव जी, Dhruv sees Uttam on his father's lap, and he goes to climb upon the father's other lap. And when that happens, Uttam's mother, Suruchi, pulls him aside and she says, no, you can't. He is my son. He is entitled to love. Your father doesn't like your mother, and therefore you are not entitled to a place in his. आरोहण करके ईश्वर विमान सुरुचि बोले कि हे पुत्र, आप राजकुमार तो हो, राज सिंहासन बैठ को नहीं हो. Only a prince could sit there. You know how the story goes. I don't have to tell you. From the time we are getting a little down in age and we have to start to subdivide the little possessions we have. All of our children display a different type of affection. And this one wants a little more than that one. If you have 3, they are supposed to get 1/3. Somehow they subdivide and one ends up with more than that 1/3 is bigger than the other 2/3. Or if you have 2 of them and you split equally in half, 1/2 does always be bigger than the other half. So he says, only he is entitled to that. क्योंकि तुमने मेरे कुक्षित जन्म लिया है और तो भी बालक इसके तुझ बात को ज्ञान नहीं है, इसमें दूसरे से गर्भ जन्म हुए हैं. If you want to sit on his lap, you would have had to be born from me, not from your mother. That would have given you an entitlement to sit on his lap. जो चुष्ट करता है वह मनोरथ तेरे दुर्लभ है, but what you want is very difficult. You want his affection, but that is not going to be. यदि तो राज सिंहासन इच्छा करता, तू तपस्वी आदि पुरुष परमात्मा आराधन कर, अब उसकी कृपा गर्भ जन्म लेगा है. 5-year-old, he is. She says, if you want to sit on his lap, go and do tapasya to God and beg God that when you die, let him allow you to be reborn as my son. And when you are reborn as my son, you will get anything that you want. So when young Dhruv hears this, तब से आदि पुरुष परमात्मा मैत्री जी बोले, मैत्री जी, who is a great sage that narrates the Bhagwat to Vidura. Vidura wanted to know the greatness of Bhagwan Sri Krishna after Bhagwan Sri Krishna departed from the earth. And Uddhav told him, Maitreya, great sage, will relate the glories of Bhagwan to you. कि सौतेल्या माता दुर्वरूप कथिन को बानसो बिंदा हुआ ध्रुव के रोष श्वास लेते दंडवत उड़ गए सदृश मौन साधिक देह. Katin Bachan. Katin means words that were very piercing. Those words were poignant. When he heard them, it etched into his emotion. It hurt him. And with that hurt, Shwasale Danvat Urge Sadresha Mauna Sadhe Devata, Pita ke paas rote hue, left his father and go straight to his mother. सभी पाप क्रोध मारे आधार हो हिस्स पर कदे हैं अपने पुत्र को गंभीर श्वास लेने. She sees her young 5-year-old crying uncontrollably, and you know how Shwasalamba means, in a way sarke, or in a way sarke, eat a good takari and some get up there. You know, sometimes you cry and you cry so much that when there are no more tears to shed, body still produces the mechanism. Yes, Suskena. And he starts to Suske. लुटा हुआ थे उसके साउथ बहाने पूर्वासी अत्यंत पीड़िता हुए हैं. They of course धैर्य तो तार शोक दवाग्नि मध्यस्थित लताओं को नाई है. When she sees him, she thinks लंबे लंबे श्वास बढ़ती दुख पार को पाता अवलब अपने को बालक बोले. She takes her son and she holds him close. हे पुत्र, she says, oh my son, और को अपराध मत मानो जो पहले दूसरे दुख देते हैं. Never mind what anybody says to hurt you. What they say, they will have to pay for that. But you bear not their taunting. If somebody tell you something or a word to hurt you, or they say something to hurt you, don't worry about that. Whatever they say, they will have to pay for that. You bear not that in mind. That is easier said than done, isn't it? It's easy to think like that, isn't it? If somebody says something to hurt you, it's easier to think, well, let them talk, no man, don't worry. It takes a different type of blessing to do that. और दूसरे दुख उसके फल निसंद भोगना पड़ते हैं. She will, don't disrespect her. She will reap the consequences of saying such. और अपराध मत मानो है. Forgive her mistake. जो पहले दूसरे दुख होते हैं उसके उसका पूर्ण निंदा भोग पड़ता है. Sometimes we have to adopt that. Adults don't speak. They are pulled apart by some particular activity that happens and they prevent the children from talking. And that should not be. If you don't speak to someone, why are you preventing the children from talking to them? Children has nothing to do with that, do they? Why can't your children and their children talk? If you and the person have some difference of opinion, then so be it. But it doesn't change the fact that the children are family. It doesn't change that fact at all. And this is what she's trying to tell him, that bear not what she says. She is still deserving of respect. सुरुचि जो कहा सत्य है. What she has said is true. क्योंकि एक तो तूने एक भाग्यहीन उदर में जन्म लिया है. She gets his mother. She gets depressed. She says what she has said is so true, because you are misfortunate when you're born, or very unfortunate when you were born from me, because your father favors her and he doesn't favor me. भाग्यहीन, दूसरे को सतत दूध को पीकर, you have drunk milk that comes from me, and because of that you are born in an underprivileged situation. You don't have the opportunity. राजा मुझ के बाहर तो मन में अत्यंत लज्जित होते हैं. Your father is ashamed to say that I am one of his queens. हे वत्स ईशा चोर कर निष्पाप होकर बचन तेरे विमान थे गए, उसके तो स्वीकार कर गए वासुदेव भगवान चरणाविंदर जो उत्तम को नाई राज सिंहाचितो. She tells him that don't be affected by the pain. She tries to console him because she herself is in pain. She says don't be affected by the pain, instead turn your thoughts to God. Same like Tulsidas, same as Belva Mangal, same as Muktadas, all of the great sages, Tukaram, they all experienced this pain and they took that pain and they channeled it to God and they became great devotees. Same as Meera. Ranamiya Vishwabhiya Manu Amrita Pikya. All great bhaktas, and this is what she tells him, that the pain that you are feeling, take it and turn that pain and turn towards God. Very good advice she gives as a parent. This is our role as parent. Although we may think differently, our inner duty is to guide them along what is right. So like this she says, go. Aise bhanti tumhare pitamah Bhagwan Mano jinki adi purusha vinashi. You have come from a family that has worshipped Charana Avinda Bhagwan Sri Krishna Pada. They have worshipped Bhagwan Sri Krishna again and again. Avinashi antaryami. Ekatra buddhi uttam dakshina yagya dwara pujan karo pai nahi mila hai. If you worship God with sincerity and devotion, and you have unflinching faith in Him, He will give you anything that you want. You will be given any desire that you want fulfilled. And that is so true, my dear friends. You worship God with ekagrachit. You know what is ekagrachit? Ekagrachit means you want to. You ever get a nice piece of worries? These boys laughing in front here. You ever get some good worries? Something ever bother you so much that don't mind if you're sleeping, you're eating, you're waking, you're moving, that thing in your head and it can't come out? Don't mind what you do, where you are, around whom you are. Young people, what they call a broken heart in Trinidadian language? Look, Ralph there. Ralph not young, but you still know the answer. What do you call that? Atabanka. Ekagrachit. You keep remembering again and again. That is what happened. That type of focus. ऐसे भूमि को स्वर्ग सुख साथ साथ मुक्ति को सुख प्राप्त है. If you take that particular that focus and you shift it to God, it will do you well later on. हे पुत्र, जिन भक्त वत्सल नारायण के चरणारविंद पद को मुमुक्ष खोजते हैं, तुम उन भगवान की आश्रय हो, दूसरा भाव न हो. There is no support. Ashraya means support. There is none who will turn their back on you. Have you ever gone to the temple or stood in front of the murti, and when you pour your troubles out to God, the murti tells you, don't come back, I tired here, you? Uncle Mo? The murti ever tell you, don't come back? You will still call a partner and say, boy, I want to talk. And especially when they have trouble, boy, I'm busy, you know. Even if they're busy, I'm busy. And if they see the number coming up again, oh God, oh, this man calling again. They listen to you once, they listen to you twice, they listen to you 3 times. After that, you know what happened? From friend, you become a pain. And this is what Bhagwan says. But God does not turn his back upon the devotee. God is always there for us. This is Bhagwan. This is what God is. We sometimes turn our backs away from the Lord. We turn away from Bhagwan, but Bhagwan does not turn away from us. Ram, same. Ram one day, when he went to Pampa Sarovar, and he was going to bathe in the lake, while he was there, he took his arrow and he stuck it in the ground on the outskirts of the lake. And when he stuck the arrow in the ground, Lakshman went to bed and he came back out. When he comes back out, Ram dressed and he pulled out the arrow. When he pulled out the bow, rather, not the arrow, the bow, when he looks at the end that was stuck in the dirt, he see blood. And he thought his Lakshman he injured. So he asked Lakshman, hey Lakshman, ye kya kare? What is this that is showing here? Where is this blood coming from? So Lakshman looks at his body, he's saying, I don't have any blood. Anyway, Bhagwan Sri Ram looks at his own body to see if his skin is bleeding anywhere, and he doesn't see it either. So when he turns his gaze downwards, he sees a frog. And on top, the head of that frog, the toad, blood is flowing out profusely. So he digs the earth and he puts him in his hand and he looks at him. And when he looks at him, he said, oh my friend, am I the cause of this pain that you are experiencing? So he looks at the Lord and he says, he does not answer. When he doesn't answer, Bhagwan, when he looks at the end of the bow and he looks at the head, he can see the incision that is made is from his bow. And he apologizes. And then the devotee in the form of that toad speaks to him. He says, Lord, what are you apologizing for? He said, I've caused you pain. You said nothing. You could have uttered a word, croaked, so something to alert me. As when somebody punches, we ouch. But you did nothing. He looks at him and tells him, he said, Lord, when the whole world is against me, I turn to you and I call your name. When the whole world gives me pain, it is you who relieves the pain. But when you, O Lord, cause the pain, who am I to turn to? And this is Bhagwan. And this is what is said. So when she realizes this, of course, Manavanchita turned to the Lord. बिना कमल भगवान तुम्हारा दुख दूर करने वाले मुझे कोई दिखाई देते हैं. हे वत्स, ब्रह्मादि देवता जिसको खोज रहते हैं, लक्ष्मी जी कमल के हाथ में कमल से चाहते हैं. That Lord, Bhagwan Sri Ram, turn to that Lord, Bhagwan Narayan. Jai Jai Narayana Narayana, Hari Hari, Swami Narayana Narayana, Hari Hari. That divine Lord. Shriman Narayana Narayana Narayana, Shriman Narayana Narayana Narayana, Shriman Narayana Narayana Narayana, Bhajman Narayana Narayana Narayana. ब्रह्मादि को सब देवता जैसे मैत्री जी बोले, मनोवांछन माता के मधुर वचन सुन. अपनी माता और छोटे छोटे अपने संग के खेलने बालक को बात और वसुदेव भगवान को अपना ही तू जान. पिता को पुर से चले दिया. अनन्य भावे निज धर्म भाविते मस्यास्तप्य भजस्व पुरुष. This slok tells you ananya bhave. Anya bhave means when you have the Lord outside like a murti and you sit down and you close in your eye, and every time you find your eye drift away again or your thoughts drift away, you look at him. And you know when you have to pray is when your mind is get active. You sit down listening to me here and you're studying as he's saying when this man would not talk. So from the time you sit down to pray, that is when your mind gets most active. Body is shutting down, because you had a long day, you're tired, traffic bad. But mind moving, sir. So God is outside, we are here. Ananya. That's called Anya Bhav. Anya Bhav, rather. Ananya Bhav. When God is inside. Wahi murti se. When God is found within, that is called Ananya Bhav. Ananya Bhav Nij Bhavati. Ananya Bhav ki bhakti. And that type of bhakti, that's a different level of bhakti. That one, that is called Parabhakti Tattva. And that type of bhakti, when devotee gets to that state, they give up all desire. They don't have desire for worldly things again. They give up all desires. So Ananya Bhakti, that worship him like this. Maitra Vache Vasanjalam Matur Kranayasa. Like this, of course. When he does this. Hey Govinda, Hey Gopal, Hey Dayal, Hey Govinda, Hey Gopal, Hey Govinda, Hey Gopal, Hey Dayal. Prananath Anath Sake Prananath Anath Sake Deenavandava Hey Govinda, Hey Gopal, Hey Govinda, Hey Gopal, Hey Dayal. So he decides he is going to search for this Govinda. Akshay Chhatra Kinchan Mahan Bhagwan ki Param. He leaves, takes his mother's advice, and he's going. Nadaji comes. Nadaji is a little bit chul chul. So he come Narayan, 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 Narayan. You know, there are some cunning people in this world, and you have to give them credit for it. You ever meet somebody? They come and they talk to you real good and they want to find out something from you. And by the time them don't talk to you, them know everything you know. Could add to what you say. And up to now they may tell you nothing, them know. They're skillful. You know why skillful? They come sweet, sweet, sweet with some good mama guy. Hey girl, you know I hear so, don't say I say now. That's the easiest way to spread a message in Trinidad, you know. You tell somebody something and you just tell them, boy, I hear so, don't say I say, you know. When that blast off and that reach back, you make a joke. That better than a WhatsApp conversation string. When you go on Instagram, you know you can trace your string, and you go on WhatsApp, you can trace the line of conversation. You do that, you can't trace it. It's untraceable. And by the time it come back, you say 1 and it had 10. Not so? Yep, shake your head and say yes, it has happened to me too. And this is what Bhagwan says. Narad comes, and when he comes, Saman ki Narad ji bole, hey Kumar, khil khilani aadi ki asakte ho kal ko kapman ki mad mange. Were you going, you as a little child, you had to be playing with toy and all kind of thing. You going to study to pray to God? As we do sometimes, right? When we have children is growing up, we say, you know, to bring them puja and bring them temple and expose them, let them be there. Oh God, Babs, you know, the whole day they work in, they're tired. Every day they work in. Sunday morning, let them sleep late now. But I guess Sunday morning and send them to the temple. That is very important. They need to know about God. They want to know everything else. That's very good. We have no quarrel with that. Your religion doesn't have any quarrel with that. But teach them about God. If you don't teach them about God, that, my dear friends. So Bhagwan says like this. Naditya tells him, he says, what are you doing? Jo tum man apaman kya gyan hai? What do you know about praise and insult? Man is praise, apaman is man and apaman. Praise and insult. Now, what you know about that? You are 5 years old. You don't know anything about that. तो संतोष के बहन is that you have to be contented with anything. क्योंकि संसार पुरुष को वहाँ दुख और किसी प्रकार नहीं होते हैं. This world is full of pain and pleasure, happiness, joys and sorrows. इसलिए जब ईश्वर को होते हैं, सिद्ध होते हैं. Whatever God, whatever is written in our karma, that is going to happen. Why are you worrying about what she tell you? Don't allow that to affect you. कठिन को दुख से अपारदा दिखे इसलिए है, but Dhruv will not have any of it. He says, Lord, he says, oh Narad, yoga sadhan samaya bada avashta ho jayega. Narad ji tells me, when you get older, you go pray. Right now, you don't pray, you play. And this is sometimes the trade-off that we make. We give in so much that when the time is there and we're trying to teach them Arti. I went to do a satsang. What day we start, Norris? Sunday? Saturday evening I had a satsang. I met a Pandit colleague and I asked him to say a few words, and he was recalling his experience at a funeral. When he went to do the funeral and he gave the son the arti, the son doesn't know what to do with the arti. And that shouldn't be. They shouldn't wait until you are ready to go to the world of God to know what they have to hold a thari in their hand and how to make arti. They have to be taught that while they are alive, while you are alive. So Bhagwan says like this, that Vaidevako, that don't do anything like that. And of course, Dhruvji bole ki he sukh, dukh, that I don't want to know anything. Upai ko dikhayega. Tell me a way that I can reach God. And Naradji, of course. Maitrij bole Narad ki Dhruv gambhir bachan sunkar atyant prasann hoke vaake balvar param sneh hai. When he hears the words of Dhruv, he tells him, he says, all right, listen, go to this. Bhor bhai baje madur muraliya. That where to go? Bhor bhai baje madur muraliya. Kaise dare jiya din re. Bhor bhai baje madur muraliya. Madhuban वृंदावन पाँच तत यमुना की मधुबन go to Madhuban, go to the forest, the Madhuban forest on the banks of the Yamuna, and sit there, make a seat, restrain yourself, fast, and when you sit there in Madhuban, Munda Munda Ko says Srishta Chandra, meditate upon the Lord. और यमुना की तट पर मधुबन को क्षेत्र है जहाँ कृष्ण का आनंद सदा विराजते हैं. The Lord is very fond of Madhuban. देखो वृंदावन के कुंज गलिन में नाचे. And later on you will hear now. Beautiful. मधुबन मेरा देखा नाचे रे गिरिवर की मुरलिया बाजे रे. मधुबन मेरा देखा नाचे रे. You know the word, right? Madhuban. This is where he goes and he dances with Radhika. So, very beautifully that go to such a spot or the Kirtaki and meditate upon Tadunavashtaki. And he goes there, my dear friends, he makes a seat. In the Gita, Bhagwan describes how the yogi sits for in yoga, Nishta, Yogavastha, describes how a yogi must sit to perform one-pointed meditation, and that is what this child does. And from a young age, circles Narad and he leaves. Ke Rajan aapke man malindu chine hai. And he says, my son, go there of course, and you will get success fast in the name of the Lord. And Maitri ji bole ki Uttanpad Narad ji yaha vachan sunkar पुत्र सोच के, thinking like this of course, और लाज लक्ष्मी चिंत मात्रा आदा से ध्रुवा दे देव ऋषि अज्ञान सुन मथुरा जी की यमुना स्नान. He passes through Mathura, he bathes in the Yamuna, और रात्रि उपवास किया, and he now starts to perform tapasya in the name of the Lord. Manamohana 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 Meera little child, very, very young, but Mohan in his mind, thinking of Sri Krishna again and again. धर्म जी के बाहर एक रात्रि उपवास किया है. One night he stayed without sleeping. फिर सावधान हो कंठ के कांति भगवान की ध्यान करने लगे. And he closes his eye, just like when we start doing jap. The first day that you start doing the jap, out of 108 beads, if for 8 beads you remember God, you're blessed. Out of the 108 times you will chant Krishna's name, if during the tenure of chanting 8 times, when you say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 8 times, if you remember him in that 8 times, you're blessed. Because to remember him for 108 times is very difficult. Mind has to be stabilized. So he starts off a little bit at a time. And so he goes, Manamohana Manamohana Meera Manamohana Meera Manamohana. तीन रात्रि, for one night he stays, then 3 days. अंत में कई the body को आहार शरीर के स्थिति अनुसार. He starts to eat every 3 days. So when we start fasting, it is be hard sometime now. Like my bhai Norris, I tell him, I say, if you can make the whole thing, eat ek month. 1 meal a day is considered. He said, no. So when you start fasting, it's very difficult. You can't just stop all of a sudden, you'll get ill. So you start one at a time, little bit at a time, little bit at a time. You eat 1 meal a day. From 1 meal a day, you stop eating solid and you start drinking liquids. And this is what gradually he does. And when he does this, तीन रात्रि के अंत में बैद को आहार से अनुसार 1 मास व्यतीत किया है. For 1 month he do that, every 3 days eat. प्रतिकार से कृष्ण चंद्र आदि चरकन का ध्यान किया है. For that 1 month, eats every 3 days and thinks of the Lord. मनमोहना मेरा मनमोहना मनमोहना मेरा मनमोहना. सत्यनारायण चल नाविन. दूसरे मास से ध्रुव गीत छते दिन आपसे गिरा प्रण को पट्टे को रखा है. For the second month, every 6 days, he cuts down the meal. You only start eating a little bit of vegetables, very thin. Trin पत्तों को अतया और हरि के भजन किया है. And for this month, 3rd month, he sings the bhajan of Hari. Sings the name of Sri Krishna in that month. Jai Madhav Madana Mudali, Jai Madhav Madana Mudali, Jai Keshav Keshav Kalimalali, Jai Madhav Madana Mudali, Jai Madhav Madana. आप गिरी like this. हरि के तीसरे मास करके उत्तम ईश्वर समिधा के पूजन किया है. Then he does समिधा पूजन. He merges mind into oneness. चौथे महीने से 12 दिन श्वास को जीत कर वायु को भक्षण करते. In the 4th month, every 12 days, surviving on air only now. Every 12 days, cuts down his breathing, and he's breathing once in 12 days. If we have to do that, you know, oh God, some of us are making that at all. But this is tapasya. It's why it's called penance. वायु को भक्षण. जब 5 मास प्रारंभ हुआ, तब नृपनंद ध्रुव विशेष श्वास को जीत खंभ को नहीं एक चरण खड़े होकर परब्रह्म परमात्मा ध्यान करने लगे. In the 5th month, stops breathing heavily, stands, goes up on 1 toe and chants the name of the Lord. Sundar Kundar Nayan Vishal, Sundar Kundar गली सोए वैजंती माला, गली सोए वैजंती माला. I guess it goes up there 5 दिन. इसके आनंद सब और से मन को खींचे हृदय पंचभूत अर्थात शब्द विषय इंद्रियों अंतकरण. 6th month controls all of his senses. There's almost total stopping of bodily functions. Antakaran. And God is seen now within his heart, inside. This is what his mother told him, Ananya Bhav. And when this happens, ध्यान करने लगे, खुशमय हो गया, देखा कृष्ण कृष्ण दिखाई देते हैं. कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण, कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण, बोलो कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण, कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण, बोलो कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण, कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण, बोलो कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण, कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण. उन्हीं कृष्णमय को आदे तो कृष्ण कृष्ण दिखाई को देते रहे. महातत्व आदर. When this 6 months pass, Devta bole Bhagwan Tantalayami. Seeing a 5-year-old do this, the Devtas, they start to feel sorry. They go by Bhagwan Vishnu, they say, Bhagwan, अपने अपने स्थान को तनपाद को पुत्र ध्रुव के करने में मुझे के आत्मा सम्यक प्रकार को प्राप्ति है. Look at what this little child is doing. Look at the dedication of such a little child. But this is what is required for us to gain success. When Naradaji tells him, don't do it, he says, Narad, I want to achieve something not even my parents was able to achieve. And that is most of us. What our parents weren't fortunate to have, we were fortunate to have it. And what we are fortunate to have, we want even our children to have more good fortune than us. And it's the same with this child. योग से पकड़े तीव्र करके हृदय कमल कोश प्रकाश भगवान की चतुर्भुज स्वर बजावे हृदय के देखा. When the devatas urge the Lord, he leaves, and with Garud, on the back of Garud, he goes swiftly to this little child in the forested region, meditating upon him. Radhava Madana Murali, Madhava Madana Murali, Jai Keshava Kadmala. और भुजाओं को मिलेंगे पर ध्रुव के संतुष्ट प्रणाम किया है. When Dhruv sees him, he touches the cheek of Dhruv and disturbs penance. When Dhruv saw him, Dandrat pranam kiya, he falls on the ground और भगवान को स्तुति करने लगे, and he begins to pray to the divine Lord. बोलो सुंदर कुंदल नयन विशाल सुंदर गल सोए बजंती माला गल सोए बजंती माला याचक की पलियानी जय माधव भगवान से भगवान बोले, हे राजपुत्र, तेरे मन को विचार में जानते उसको देते हुए सुब्रत तेरे मंगल हो. Blessed indeed are you, such at a young age, that you are able to attain such, you have made such strides in your life. But this is devotion, this is what bhakti brings in our lives. But भगवान बोले, हे राजपुत्र, तेरे मन को विचार कर, ask for what you want, I know already what is there. I will give this blessing, जिसके ग्रह नक्षत्र. You want a blessing that not even your father and your grandfather has? This blessing I will give to you. जिस ग्रह नक्षत्र तारा को ज्योतिष अर्पित है. Among the stars in the heavenly regions, all of the nakshatra, the combination of stars, you will become famous in this world. You will become a great king when you return. And when you leave this world, your place would be amongst the heavenly luminaries, the heavenly stars. All of us follow a little bit of Christmas story. Yeah? What guided the three wise men? What guided the three wise men? Which star? North Star. Yep. That is Dhruv Tara. That is Dhruv. When you do wedding in the night, in the day you have to look for the sun, for the couple to beg the sun for blessing. But in the night you look for the Dhruv Tara. Wahi hai Bhagwan ki bhakt hai. This is the blessing that he got. When he left this world, he remained alive for a long time. And Bhagwan gave. Why did Bhagwan give this blessing? He did not ask for mukti. He asked for a blessing to achieve something that his parents and his grandparents could not achieve. When Naradaji returns and tells the king that this is what your child has done, Pitnaji Vak Vishwas ko Ananda Vega se Samachar Sundut ko bahut har diya hai. Sundar Sundar, his father is now grieving for him. Says, don't grieve for him. What he has attained, it will be difficult for you to attain. Be happy for him. He has the blessing. He's under the protection of the divine Lord. Sri Krishna. When he leaves this world, he will be forever a bhakt of the divine Lord. So saying, of course, he returns home, and the kapat that was there, the grouse pain that was there in his heart when he left, that was all destroyed because of devotion. And that is what devotion does. That's why when you have trouble, we tell you, pray to God, because it helps to cut away the misery in our lives. And this is what happened. Charan Danda Pradama kya? Raja Prasthna, his father, very happy. Even Suruchi ki bole ki he putra yuga yuga joa. Even the one, his mother, one of the queen that was not his mother, that uttered hurtful words to him, she came and she hugged him. She was elated, she was happy for his achievement. With Dhruv, and that Dhruv, of course, a great bhakta of Bhagwan Sri Vishnu. It is Srimad Bhagavad Dhruva Vakyan Naam Adhyaya.